Hey, in today's video, I'm going to talk about how to use your Dreambook and Planner to plan your goals for your business. And so I'm so excited. This is 2021's planner and 2022 just came in. We always get ours fairly early and super excited about it. So today I'm going to talk to you about how to use the lifetime, 10-year, 3-year, and 1-year goals. We're also going to talk about how to use the project planners for the year and then for the quarter. Hi, I'm Kirsten with Six Figure Business Coaching, and we help female entrepreneurs grow their businesses with smart marketing strategies, a marketing virtual assistant, and leveraging technology for automation. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please do, and ring the bell to get notified when we post new videos. We like to post consistently every week, but sometimes life gets in the way, so you'll want to make sure to ring that bell. The first time I came in contact with the concept of lifetime goals, 10-year, 3-year, and 1-year goals, and really had someone explain it to me was in 2007. I was in an all-day coaching session with a brand new coach. There were about 30 men and 4 women in the room. So the first thing we did was we went around the room and we introduced ourselves. And then our coach introduced himself. And then he said, I have a question for all of you. Please take out a piece of paper and I want you to write the answer to this question. And the question that he asked was, how old will you be when you die? How old will you be when you die? So we're all kind of looking around at each other thinking, what kind of question is that? He's like, no, seriously, don't overthink it. Just write down a number. So everyone wrote down a number. And then he had us go around and read that number. So some people said 78, 85, 92. So everyone had different numbers as far as when they thought they would die. So the next thing he did was he pulled out a huge whiteboard and he talked about what brings us joy, what creates a life of quality, what makes us want to live a happy, vibrant, long life. So obviously we put things like, being healthy, eating well, exercise. We talked about being financially secure, having money in retirement, having money to give to charities you believe in, having money to help and support your family. We talked about being a part of a community, actually feeling like you're contributing to your community locally and globally. We talked about all the things that people want to do for leisure, like travel or, hobbies that they want to take on. This board was absolutely full of things that would build a fabulous life, great healthy relationships with your partner and your kids. And we just kept digging deeper and deeper into what it means to have a meaningful life. So after we finished this exercise, he said, now if you thought about your life and you wanted to live your life with these principles, how long do you think you would live? Because we were talking about what contributes to a happy life even when we're close to retirement or even close to death. I know that sounds kind of weird and kind of crazy, but what kind of life do you want to have now? And then what kind of quality of life do you want to have? And he kind of said, start with the end in mind. So he asked us again, write down how old will you be when you die? So we all did that again, and everyone raised that age quite a bit because you realize we do have a lot of control over our lives. Not complete control, but we do have control over how we eat and how we exercise and how we interact with other people and how much money we make and how much wealth we build. We do have a lot of control over those things, and that's what he wanted us to focus on. So the concept of starting with the end in mind was just very different. So what we did was we started with our lifetime goals first. And I know it might sound kind of crazy, but when you think about your lifetime goals, what do you want to achieve? Maybe something like, have enough money to travel the world. Like I want to travel to at least 100 countries. Or maybe something like I want to be super healthy so I can go and do things and be very active with my grandchildren. And I want to have the resources to be able to take them to Disney every year. It may be something like, I want to be able to sell my business so that I can just do charity work. That's my goal. That's what I want to do. I want to be able to contribute more to my community. I'm passionate about helping homeless people, and I want to get really involved and change that situation in our community. So as you're looking at your lifetime goals, what do you want for your life? What do you want your retirement to look like? What do you want the golden years of your life to look like? Because what's going to happen is as we set the 10-year goals, 3-year goals, and 1-year goals, we know where we're going, right? They always say, if you have a map, you can get where you're going. So this is your map. So as you're working on your lifetime goals, just jot down a few things. And remember, you can always change this or edit or expand or build on it. So don't let perfectionism get in the way of progress. So when we did this exercise, we looked at it in a lot of different ways. We all wrote down a health and fitness goal. We wrote down a finance goal for our businesses and for our wealth building. We wrote down a community goal, relationship goals, and then personal goals as far as hobbies and interests go. But for this exercise, we're going to primarily focus on your business goal. So when you think about your lifetime, where do you want to be in your business? And this could be things like, I want to sell my business for $3 million the year I turn 65. Or I want my business to run and generate $5 million a year, but I only want to work 6 months out of the year. Or perhaps your goal is more about wealth building. You know, by the time I get to 65, no matter what happens with my business, I want to have $2 million in my retirement account and my house paid for. So when you think about your financial goals, it can really be whatever you want. So it may be, I want to have a $10 million business or a $100 million business, you know, that I can sell. Or it can be something as simple as, I don't want to retire. I want to create a business that I can work ongoing because I enjoy it so much, but I only want to work part-time and I want to generate an income of X. So you really get to decide that. And then once you've written that goal down, we'll talk about how your 10-year goals will play into it. So now that you've got your lifetime goals, let's look at your 10-year goals. So I absolutely love this quote by Bill Gates. Most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. Where will you need to be in 10 years in order to achieve your lifetime goals? Now this can be very different for everyone. So for example, if you were 20 and just started your business, you know, you're going to be at a very different place in 10 years than someone who started their business at 55 and want to retire in 10 years. So think about like your lifetime goals and then think about where you would need to be in 10 years in order to be on track to make the lifetime goal happen based on how much time you have between the two. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect because life is going to change. Your business could grow faster, it may grow a little slower, you may end up with a second business. And you're going to do this exercise year after year, which is going to allow you to make adjustments. It's going to allow you to tweak your goals and your plans based on how your life has changed so that you can really set goals that you're working towards achieving. So let's just say that you want your business to be at $3 million in 10 years. You want the gross revenue from your business to be $3 million. And you as the business owner, let's say you want to pull out 35% of personal income from that $3 million. And I got that number from this book, Profit First. It has a fantastic chart in it that kind of tells you if your business is below 250,000, you know, 1 million to 3 million, what you should be looking at as far as what you should be paying in taxes off of gross revenue, what you should be earning in income from gross revenue, and what you should be taking as profit distribution from your business. And so this can be really helpful. I use this book every year with my clients when we're reviewing their numbers. And a lot of times people think, oh my gosh, I made so much money, but you know, I brought so little home. I think a lot of people feel that way. Same thing for employees. I think they get their paycheck and then they see all the taxes and everything taken out. And they think, wow, I didn't get to bring home as much as I'd hoped. But what this book does is it allows you to kind of think about, am I beating this number? That's what I always work with my clients. Are you bringing home more revenue than what he suggests in this book? Because I feel like that's a really good benchmark. Okay, so in 10 years, you want your business to have $3 million in gross revenue, and you want to bring home 35% for taxes, employment, and profit. So now that you have that goal done, what has to happen in 3 years? Where would your business need to be? So let's say in 3 years, your goal is to get your business to $1 million and you want to bring home between 45 and 55% in income to you from that business. So that is your 3-year goal. So in the comments below, hit me up with just a simple yes if this is helpful and if it's making sense how that the 3-year, 10-year lifetime goals build on each other. Now we have to look at our 1-year goal. So depending on what your business did last year, perhaps your goal is to get the business to 300,000 this year, okay? And this is where it gets really amazing because once you know what you're working for in 2022, you know that you need to hit that $300,000 mark, now you get to figure out how to make that happen. And that's where the project column comes in this book. So you have, what projects do you need to do over the next 12 months to make this happen? And it could be things like build out 3 new lead magnets, hire someone to create funnels for me, find a great Facebook ads manager. It could be, I need to book X number of sales calls, or I need to create new products or services. Or perhaps you need to really assess the products and services you have already and eliminate some, the ones that are not as profitable. So when you think about the projects and you just start writing down all of the things that you need to accomplish over the next 12 months in order to hit your goal, you're kind of breaking down all of these different aspects of your business. Do you need to really look at your bookkeeping to make sure you are going to achieve the profit margin that you want to achieve? Do you need to cut costs? Maybe you actually need to spend more money. So maybe if you spent more money on ads, you could actually grow the revenue faster and still maintain a great profit margin, the ideal profit margin based on the book we just talked about. So go ahead and write down all of the different projects that you think you need to work on in 2022 to hit that $300,000 mark in your business. So the next page is actually looking at Q1. And here's what Jeannie and I found is that when we started working on our business, thinking about our annual goals and then breaking them down by our quarterly projects, it really helped us get clear and get a lot of things done. So hopefully you have just brain dumped as many projects as you could possibly think of that you need to do for the year in 2022 to hit your goal. Now what I want you to do is prioritize them. Which of those things needs to happen in Q1? And this is really helpful because Jeannie and I have found that we just have a great flow when we go into the year looking at everything that needs to happen and then breaking it down by quarter. So what things do you absolutely need to hit the ground running on in 2022? So maybe it is creating new lead magnets. Maybe it's digging down in your finances and figuring out if you're spending enough on ads or if you're spending too much on other things. So just write down those things that you want to get done. And what will happen is this will guide your workflow for Q1. So now that you've brain dumped all of the projects that need to get done in 2022 so that you hit your goal of $300,000, now you're going to divide them up and figure out which quarter you should do them in. And so I love that it has the little circle right there, so you can just circle in which ones need to be done. And this is fantastic because it lets you think about what has to happen first. So obviously, you need to have a lead magnet and a funnel done before you can hire an ads manager. So things like that, you can put them in the order in which they need to be done. And you can really think about, what's your busy time of year? When should you work on the most projects or the hardest projects? So go ahead and in Q1, write down the things that you're going to accomplish that are really going to help you achieve your goals. And if one of your goals for 2022 is to hire a virtual assistant to help you get your marketing done, that's actually what we help our clients do. So in the description below, I'm going to put a link to our guide, Double Your Income with a Marketing Virtual Assistant, and you can check that out. I hope this video has been helpful and that you really have a great idea of how to use the 1 year, 3 year, 10 year, and lifetime goals. If you have any questions at all, please drop it in the comments and we'll make sure to answer you. We try to answer all of our comments. And again, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and I will see you in the next video.